That's the activity? Yeah, I got it. Hi everyone. Are you able to hear me? Can you all give me a reply? Unmute them. Am I audible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yes, I'm getting okay. So I hope you all have tried the integration out. Has anyone tried the integration out? And have you got the answer? No, no one. Okay. So look at this. Look at this thing. Okay. At electric field intensity. This was the last thing we had left out. It was a electric field intensity due to a disk on the point P.
Sir, I have
Okay.
found the answer.
What's the answer?
The minus 2 pi k lambda r upon root under r square plus x square.
Okay. Okay. Let's see what we get into then. Okay. Let's see what we are getting to, and at least thank it's good that you tried, and I encourage everyone to try this out, because at least if you have tried, you will know what the right paths are and what the wrong paths are. So ultimately in the time of exam, you will know that when you're going towards the wrong path, you will come to know this was wrong, this was a correction, this is right. Okay, without wasting any time, what I'll be doing is I'll be continuing what I had done previously. So E is equal to integration of dE equals to k lambda 2 pi r by 2, okay, 2x dx upon r square plus x square raised to 3 by 2. We had divided and multiplied 2 over here for a certain reason. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this x square right here, x square as t. Okay, if I take x square as t, then what is the differentiation of dt with respect to x is going to be 2x dx equal to dt. Okay, 2x dx is equal to dt, and so I will continue that E is basically going to be k lambda 2 pi r upon 2. Okay, that 2 and 2 gets cancelled now. What is this 2x dx now? That is dt. Am I right? 2x dx is dt upon r square plus x square, that is r square plus x square. Instead of x square, I will write t. Okay, is it clear, guys? Is it clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
R
sir.
square plus t whole raised to, okay, 3 by 2. Now isn't the integration much easier? Okay, what we can do is we can take this term up, this entire term up. So what it will become? R square plus t raised to minus 3 by 2. Okay, so I will write that here, that it will become simply equals to, okay, k lambda pi r integration of r square plus t whole raised to minus 3 by 2. Okay, whole raised to minus 3 by 2. And so what will be the integration of this? Will simply be, okay, I'll remove this integration sign now. What we'll get? Okay, we'll get minus 3 by 2 plus 1 upon minus 3 by 2 plus 1. Okay, okay, everyone. So
Yes, sir.
now,
Yes, sir.
what is minus 3 by 2 plus 1? It's minus 1 by 2. Similarly, we'll have minus 1 by 2 downwards. So you take a reciprocal, it will become what? Ultimately, you'll get an answer. I'll just rub this off. Get an answer. Okay. ultimately you will get k lambda pi
Good
r.
afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, miss.
Children, why the strength is so less? All the children have not joined? Only 37 out of 81?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Why so less? Aditya? You don't want that sir should teach? You tell me. 37 children out of 81, why? Unmute your mic and answer me. Your portion is not getting over. We have started with the portion right now and still the attendance is so less. Convey to everyone that mandatory your attendance will go, this attendance will only go to the board. I told you very clearly that board has already told that online attendance we have to consider and we have to send. Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Please inform others because I'll be checking all the 12 standard classes. Is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Sir, please continue. Sorry for the disturbance. Sir, please continue. Joshua, sir. You are there?
Am I audible?
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
continue,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Continue.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Okay. There was some sound disconnection. Okay. Anyways, what we get,
Sir,
what we now
sir, I'm
get a
having a
result.
doubt.
Yes. Yes. Please ask.
Sir, in the previous step, how did the integration of r square plus t?
How did I do the integration of r square plus t?
Ma'am, sorry, sir. In that r is constant.
Yes, r is constant. No, see, this is r. This is r.
Oh,
R is going to be constant. No, see, because this is a point P over here. You brought a test charge over here, point P. Okay, what is going to vary is only x.
yes, sir.
X is the radius of the ring. Huh? Okay, x is not the radius of the disk. Okay, I will explain. See, simple terms. See, look, this is a disk. There is, we have to find out the electric field intensity of this disk, entire disk on this point P. So what we are going to do is basically, since we already did a ring, we already have done the derivation for a ring. So using that methodology, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a small element over here. Okay, just like in linear charge, we take a small element dx. Okay, so in similar way, when it comes to circular forms, we take a ring. Okay, and that ring has a certain distance x. Okay, certain distance x. Thickness of the ring will be around dx. Okay, thickness of the ring around dx. What is the going to be the distance between this point P and the center of the disk? I have taken it as r, and that has to be constant. That will be constant. Okay, is the
Yes,
is
sir,
the
that
doubt
only
clear?
was the doubt.
Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
sir.
no problem,
Thank
no
you.
problem. You please ask me, no problem. And if anyone feels that the doubt he is asking is a little bit, people will make fun or something, then please send me a chat, a private chat, and I will clear it out. Don't worry. Okay. So now I will just write that step down again. Okay, k lambda pi r. Okay, I don't want anyone to get confused. So please pay attention. dt upon, it was dt upon t plus
T plus
r
r
square.
square.
Okay, and that was raised to 3 by 2. Am I right? Okay,
Yes, sir.
what I'm going to do is take this entire term up. So if I take the entire term up, what it will become? What will it become? It will become t plus r square raised to minus 3 by 2. What is integration of this? Okay, I'll remove this integration sign here. What it will become? Minus 3 by 2 plus 1 upon minus 3 by 2 plus 1. Okay, is this clear?
Yes,
Is
sir.
this clear?
Yes, sir.
Now, what will be the limits? That also we should discuss now only. What will be the limits? See, I'm taking this ring. This ring has a certain distance x. You imagine the x distance, this small x distance. Wait, I think my hand covering it up. So this red line over here is the radius of the ring. Okay, if I make this radius very small, what will happen? The ring will become very small. If I make the radius very big, what will happen? The radius, the ring will cover the outer portion of the disc. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm basically what I'm doing is I'm varying x from 0 to r, because r is the entire radius of this disc. Am I right? R is the entire radius of this disc. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a limit here 0 to r. For what? You understood? Is that clear? 0 to r?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
Okay. So now let's solve this. What we will get simply k. Okay, we'll get k lambda pi r. Okay, upon t plus r square. Okay, raised to. I'll just rub this out. T plus r square. Okay, raised to minus 3 by 2 plus 1. That is minus 1 by 2. Okay, upon minus 1 by 2. Okay, this minus 1 by 2 will go up. Okay, the limits are 0 to r. Okay, is this understood? Now I'm
Yes,
going.
sir.
Yeah. Okay. So
Yes,
what we will get?
sir.
We'll get k lambda pi r. Okay. Then what we will get minus 2, because this small 2, this minus 1 by 2 reciprocal, minus 2 upon t square t plus r square whole raised to 1 by 2. Okay, because this is t plus r square raised to minus 1 by 2. I took it down. So it is 1 upon t plus r square raised to 1 by 2. Okay. Yeah. Now what we can do is we can start putting the limits. Okay. What we can do is put the limits. What is not a constant here? What is not a constant here? Okay.
T.
What is not a
T.
constant?
T.
What is not a, yeah. So now instead of t, what I can do? I can put x square back. Since integration is already over, I don't need this t. So I can just remove this t and put x square back. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Yeah, x
Yes.
square plus r square. Yeah. So now I will just substitute it. That's it. So simple. That is k lambda pi r. Okay. Minus 2 upon what is x square now? R square. Okay. Yeah, r square plus small r square. Okay. Minus. Okay. Minus of minus 2 will become plus upon 2 upon again. What is this going to be? 0 plus r square whole raised to 1 by 2. Am I right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So what are we going to get finally? What are we going to get? We'll remove this 2 out. We'll take it common. So what will happen? I take the 2 out. Okay. So I will get 2k lambda. Okay, 2k lambda pi. Okay, we'll get. I take r inside. I will take r inside. So what it will become? Minus r upon r square plus r square plus r upon r square raised to 1 by 2 is what? R only. R square raised to 1 by 2 is what? R only.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
R and R got cut. So it will become 1 minus r upon r square plus r square. Okay. So I will write that again. What we will get. I'm just rubbing it off. Okay. Rubbing it off. finally we are getting a term after integration which says that E is equal to 2k lambda pi, okay, 1 minus, okay, r upon r square plus r square raised to 1 by 2. Okay, now students pay attention. Pay attention. See, now this is what we will get. This is what we, how else can we simplify this? We can say k is 1 by 4 pi epsilon naught. Am I correct? Okay, so I will just write that down over here. K is equal to 1 upon, okay, 4 pi epsilon naught. So what will happen? This will get cut. Finally, what I get, this pi also will get cut. So I'll get epsilon upon, lambda upon 2 epsilon naught. Am I right? Lambda upon 2
Yes, sir.
epsilon naught. So I will just remove that and I will write lambda upon 2 epsilon naught. So this is the equation. This is E. Finally, it is fully simplified. Okay, finally it is fully simplified. That E is equal to lambda upon 2 epsilon naught 1 minus r upon r square plus r square raised to 1 by 2. Okay. Okay. Now, you see, I will tell you a trick. I'll tell you a trick. You see this r upon r square plus r square raised to 1 by 2. Look at this equation. This small term over here. What is it in the diagram? What is it in the diagram? See this r. Okay. Now there is a theta over here. There is this angle over here makes theta, some angle theta, and this is r. And what is the down term? The term below this r, capital R square plus r square. That is this one. That is this one.
Yes,
So what
sir.
are we going to get finally? What can we say?
X. We can write X.
Yeah, we can say adjacent by hypotenuse.
Yes, sir.
Yes.
So doesn't that become cos theta?
Yes, sir.
Yes,
So
sir.
Yes, sir.
instead of this term, I can write cos theta. No, why to make such a big mess? I'll just remove this and I'll write cos theta. Okay. Am I right? Okay. Is it understood? This is the equation.
Yes.
This is the equation for a disk. Now I will tell you something. This is a trick. If you increase theta, if you increase this theta, okay, you keep increasing it, you keep increasing it, you keep increasing it, let's say to pi by 2. What will you get? What will this disk become then?
Lambda upon 2 epsilon.
No. What will the disk become? It will become an infinite line.
Infinite line.
Finite.
Yes.
Infinite sheet. Okay. So
Yes, sir.
just by putting theta equal to pi by 2, you will get the value of the electric intensity on this point P due to a sheet, due to an infinite sheet, uniformly charged infinite sheet. Okay. So what will it be? What is cos pi by 2? What is cos pi by 2? 0. So what will that turn out? Yeah. So electric field due to an infinite sheet will be 2 epsilon naught. Am I right? Okay. This is
Yes,
the
sir.
electric field intensity due to an infinite sheet of charge. Okay. Now, what I want you to do is today I will give you a small assignment, and that assignment is to do integration. And find out integration method only. Okay, and find out the electric field intensity on this point P. Okay, due to a sphere, due to a uniformly charged sphere. Okay, it is very simple. Okay, the integration might be a little tough, but at least try. Please try. Later on, we can discuss how we can solve this, and you will understand that when you solve this electric field intensity on a point P due to a charged sphere, you will understand the difficulty, and you will understand why Gauss theorem was invented and why Gauss law makes more sense. Okay, so ultimately what you get an answer will be found out in 2 steps using Gauss law. Okay, doing an integration method and finding out the electric field intensity of a sphere okay, at a point P, okay, there are several things you have to take in consideration. Okay, you consider this point from here to here as certain distance r. Let's say this is a small r. Okay, and now what happens is that you want to find out the electric field intensity of this entire sphere on this point P. It's a sphere. I'm talking 3 dimension. Okay, it's a sphere, 3D. So what will be the element which you will take? What will be the element which you will take?
A shell.
You will take a okay, it's a hollow sphere. It's a hollow sphere. Now you can't take a shell. Yeah, it's not a solid sphere. It's a
Disk.
hollow sphere. Yeah. What can you take? You can take a ring, na? You can take a ring. A ring.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, you can take a ring. See, it's simple. See, look here. There is some. I want to take. See, listen. There is some charge over here on this point. Consider this point here. I've just taken another pen so that you understand better. This certain charge over here, dq. Okay. Now already this dq is making a line angle theta. Okay, wait. I'll draw it nicely so that you get a nice idea. Okay, if you know it very good, you can try it again and again so that it's good in competitive exams and all. It will help you. Okay, so this already making an. Let's suppose this is making an angle theta. So what will be this dq making? D theta. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's going to
Yes,
make
sir.
an angle. Yeah, it will make a small. It will make a small d theta. So I'll write here d theta. The charge over here, the small amount of charge is going to make an angle theta with the x-axis. But that small amount of charge will have a certain thickness, and that thickness is going to subtend an angle over here, which will be around d theta. Okay. Now, if you consider this point, look at this point. You see this? Take one slice over here, another slice over here. This is going to be a 3-dimensional ring. It's going to be a 3-dimensional ring. Okay. Considering the fact that this sphere has a radius capital R. If this sphere has a radius capital R, okay, you need to find out the component of this. You want to find out the radius. See, when you're finding the electric field intensity due to this disk over here, due to this ring over here, you will have to find out the radius from this point, from the center of this point, not here. So what you will do, you will simply take the component. Am I right? You will simply take the component. Imagine this is R. So what is this going to be? R cos theta. Along the x-axis is going to be R cos theta. Okay. What will it be on the y-axis here? It will be R sin theta.
R sin theta. R
R
sin
sin
theta.
theta. Exactly. So you will this see, look at this. This R sin theta is not the entire radius of the sphere. Look at this. It's a component. It's a component. It's going to cover only the radius from from the center of this ring to the circumference of this ring. It is that. So this is going to be R sin theta. So when you are finding out the electric field intensity, first find out the electric field intensity due to this ring on this point P. Okay, due to this ring at this point P, and then what will happen? You will get it. Try it in terms of theta. Try to derive it in terms of theta. So when you derive it in terms of theta, finally what you can get is theta will become variable. Theta becomes variable. So if theta is 0, you will get a small ring over here. Theta will become 0, you get a small ring over here. Theta becomes some angle, it will become this. Theta becomes 90, it will become this. Theta becomes till you get till 180. Finally, theta becomes 180. So I'm telling you the limits indirectly that theta will be from 0 to 180. Theta will become 0 to 180. See, in order to understand the easiness of Gauss law, first try to integrate this. First try to find out the electric field intensity due to this sphere using a ring as an element. Okay, using a ring element. And someone said that disk should be taken. A good answer. You can take it in a charged, solid sphere, and you can try it out. Okay, we'll come to all that. Gauss's law will make things much easier and you'll understand much better. Okay, so this will be the assignment for you today. I will be uploading it plus some certain numericals. Okay. Now, let's do a little bit of theory. Okay, let's understand the properties of electric field. Now, why I am taking this is so that when we come to the surface, the subject, the topics like potential, equipotential surfaces, and all, this will help you. So, and to understand what is a dipole, to understand all those things, you need to know this thoroughly. Sometimes you will have numericals and concepts based on this only. So, we'll go through it one by one. Not a big thing. We'll just go through it one by one. Okay. First thing, you all are very aware of this, that it starts from the field lines, the electric field lines. What are they going to do? They are going to emerge. They are going to emerge from a positive charge and they are going to contract towards a negative charge. So it starts from a positive charge and ends at a negative charge. So that is the first point. Okay, it starts from a positive charge and ends at a negative charge. Okay, I won't use much of your time for this. This is very much understandable. I think you already know this. Okay, now let's look at the second point. Okay, the second point. What is the second? The second point says that the tangent gives the direction. Listen to me. The tangent gives the direction. What does it mean? Tangent gives direction. What does it mean? Now consider there's a positive charge and a negative charge. Okay. Positive charge and a negative charge. And this positive charge and negative charge are basically interacting with each other using electric field lines. Okay. Using electric field lines. So ultimately, I'm just drawing a graph. Look at this point. When you look at these field lines over here, okay, when you look at these field lines, at every point, okay, you can take a tangent and it will give you the direction at every point. It will give you the direction at every point. Now, why I'm stressing out on this is because it is going to help you in equipotential surfaces. You need to know that at every point on this electric field line, if you take a point and you draw a tangent, this tangent is going to give you what? It's going to give you the direction of that electric field line. Okay, it's going to give you the direction of the electric field line. Okay, let's look at the third point. Okay, they never touch each other. Okay, electric field lines will never touch each other. Okay, never touch each other. Touch or cross each other. And I'll tell you the reason why. Suppose you have an electric field line which is touching each other like this, maybe like this. Okay, at this point, what will be the tangent? What will be the tangent at this point? It will have
At two different directions.
There will be two tangents.
Two tangents.
It will have two directions. And so, mathematically, a point cannot have two directions. Okay, mathematically, it cannot have two directions. So this is not possible. Okay, they never touch each other. Okay, it also what else can it mean? It simply means that there is a point from which lines are contracting as well, and there are electric field lines which are emerging out as well. That is also not possible because it's only positive charge which will give out electric field lines, and negative charge which is taking or absorbing electric field lines. There cannot be a point which is also taking in electric field lines also passing out electric field lines. So this is incorrect. Okay. Now you will have many such numericals. You will have sometimes in your board exams, they will give you a question and they will give you several electric field lines of two different points, and they will ask you what is the correct one. So it is, see, never underestimate these small things. Many times we underestimate these small things and we lose marks. Better not to lose marks. Try to understand each and everything in detail. Try to draw these diagrams. Okay. Now, they never will form closed loops. Next one. They never form closed loops. Again, why they won't form closed loops? Why is that they won't form closed loops? There cannot be a point which is taking inside an electric field and emerging an electric field out. That is not possible. Okay, I already explained this. Okay, next. Next, what is going to happen is the number of electric field lines. Okay, the number of electric field lines is directly proportional to the magnitude of charge. Now listen to me. Suppose, see what I'm saying. Okay, the number of electric field lines is directly proportional to the magnitude. Magnitude of what? Magnitude of the charge. Magnitude of charge. So suppose we have a charge over here which is 4q, 4 times the charge, and here there is a charge which is 3q. Now consider this 3q to be a negative charge. Consider this 4q to be a positive charge. Now let's say there are 100 electric field lines going into 4q. Okay, going out of 4q, sorry, positive charge, right? See, understood? It's very easy to make mistakes. So, let's say there are 100 over here. So, in a charge of 4q, there are 100 electric field lines which are being emerging out of it. What will be the amount of charge on 3q? Can anyone answer?
Less than 100.
Can anyone answer? Okay, see, I will show you. So this way you will understand what it is. Okay, 4q gives you 100 electric field lines. So 3q will give you how much? Will give you how much? Why
75.
are we doing
75.
75?
25.
Right. 3 into 100 divided by 4, that will give you around 75. So, but what 75? 75 what? What is that? Is it going out
Field
or going
lines.
in?
Going
Yeah, right,
in.
right.
Going
Going
in.
in.
Going in.
So
In.
sometimes they will give you a question like this and they'll tell you to draw the electric field lines based on the negative charges. Okay, don't make a mistake. You get 75, okay, you'll draw 75 lines, but you have to show the direction. That is, they are contracting within that. Okay, so 3q will take or absorb electric field lines, 75 electric field lines. Also, there are sometimes questions like this. Simple questions, where people lose answers. So marks. So sometimes they will give you 6q over here, and they'll tell you what the number of electric field lines over here, and they'll tell you there's another charge over here which is 2q. There's another charge minus 3q, another charge 4q. Draw the electric field lines with respect to this. You will have to show that somewhere it is contracting. How many this will contract? How many this will emerge out? How many this is going to emerge out? So always remember one thing, it's a small statement which simply says that electric field lines are directly proportional to the magnitude. Electric field lines are directly proportional to the magnitude of the charge. Magnitude of charge. So if a positive charge, say 4q, has 8 lines emerging out of it, then a charge 2q will have how much? It will have, suppose 4q has electric field lines, 8 electric field lines, Okay. So how much will a 2q have?
4.
4. Okay. So these are some of the properties of electric field lines. These are some of the properties of electric field lines. How much time? 4 minutes. Okay. Now next property. The next property is they are perpendicular to the surface of the conductor. The electric field lines are perpendicular to the surface of the conductor. Now we will understand what conductors are in that topic. But right now what you have to know is that there is a conductor, say suppose a conductor like this. Electric field lines are going to be generated in such a way that they are perpendicular to the surface of this conductor. Is that clear? Okay. Perpendicular simply means that they are going to make 90 degrees with the surface. Okay.
Yes, sir.
Similarly, if you take any other shape, say suppose a circle, a sphere, the electric field lines which are going to emerge out of it is going to be like this, in this form. You understood? It's going to be 90 degrees to the surface. Later on, whether it bends or whether it contracts doesn't really matter unless and until there's another conductor with another electric field over there, okay, with another charge, positive or negative, that we will see. So what I will try to tell you is take a positive charge, take a negative charge, take number of positive charges and negative charges and draw electric field lines among them. Draw the electric field lines. Say this is positive here, there's a positive charge. In the same area, there's a negative charge. Okay, in the same area, there's another negative charge, there's another positive charge. Please draw electric field lines. Try to imagine the electric field lines. The positive charges will repel, so it will be a bent like this. But over here, it will contract. Over here, it will repel. What will this help you out with? It will simply help you out with different types of diagrams, and it will help you out with various questions in the exams. Okay, various questions in the exams. So these were some of the properties of electric field lines. Okay, I think I can't go ahead more because there's lack of time. Maybe around 1 minute is left. So this was all for today, and I'm going to give you a certain assignment, charge, sphere, and some numericals based on Coulomb's law. Some numericals based on Coulomb's law. Okay, everyone.
Thank you, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir,
Thank you, sir.
thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay. Bye-bye. Bye.